With a warm greetings, I extend my warmest welcome to the talk show Education 4.0 for Safe, Sustainable Societies.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the talk show organized by Samurja Educational Society on the theme Education 4.0 for Safe, Sustainable Societies. We welcome all the panelists and participants to this episode. Also, we appreciate and applaud you for the zeal and passion to learn with Samurja. Samurja, a 30-year-old society, what we do, here is a small video of it. Over to Monica, please.
Samurja Educational Society, established in the year 1991, has completed its gratifying journey of 3 decades. The society was conceptualized with the objective of educating children and preparing them to be morally upright and vocationally independent. Ever since its inception, the society has continued to take tiny steps forward, redesigning the educational fabric in all possible ways through various educational activities, besides conducting social outreach programs like the Girl Next Door and the Charity Wall. Samurja is constantly striving to bring together some of the most ignited minds in the field of education to introduce change in the educational fabric of the nation by providing educational vision, empowering educators, inspiring learners, and elevating various organizations through training sessions, panel discussions, talk shows, conferences, and symposiums. The Society has also conceptualized and published periodicals and magazines for students and teachers. Samurja continues to explore new domains, trends, and landscapes to enrich the educators across the country by equipping them to resolve the academic challenges in their classroom to make teaching and learning more joyous and engaging. It also helps educators realize their vision and collaborate with national and international educators to have sustainable societies and a happy nation, thus redefining the paradigms of Indian education. Jai Hind, Namaskar.
Once again, welcome. I am referring to just 5 days back, 29th July 2021. Honorable Prime Minister Mr. Modi addressed the policymakers in the domain of education, students and teachers across the country via video conferencing. The address was to mark the completion of 1 year of reform under the NEP 2020. He appreciated all educators for their untiring effort during pandemic, besides launching multiple initiatives in education. He also shared that there were more than 2,300 crore hits on Diksha portal, which bear the testimony to the utility of the portals like Diksha and Swam. The artificial intelligence program was launched, which is expected to prepare students future-oriented, and it will pave the way for an AI-driven economy. The National Digital Education Architect, NDR, and National Education Technology Forum, NETF, were launched. Both platforms will go a long way in providing a digital and technological framework to the entire country, said the Prime Minister. Modern technology-based academic bank of credit system will bring revolutionary change in the higher education. SAFAL, structured assessment for analyzing learning levels, will take away the fear of examination from the students. Nishtha 2.0, launched to provide training to teachers as per their needs. Vidya Pravesh was launched for playway-based school preparation module for elementary education. I personally feel pride and proud when I hear so much of the technological advancement in our country, starting from policymakers to educational leaders, educators, students, and parents. Everybody is singing the same rhyme in chorus. I visualize a highly modernized, tech-driven society evolving with smooth flyovers and underpasses, but without thinking of drainage system and sewage disposal system. Yes, I am referring to cyber challenges and security. And this is the topic for today's talk show. A couple of days back, I was flipping different sites to have some information. I came across a quote by Khalil Gibran. If you share your password to the wind, don't blame it for sharing it with trees. I was really wondering if Khalil Gibran said it, maybe in some other context, than internet and computer. Another poster with a picture of Abraham Lincoln stating, do not believe everything you read on the internet, only because there is a picture next to quote. Exactly the same was written with the picture poster of August Bernard Anderson. It took me a while to understand the real meaning of the poster. The word cyber become the part of every possible vernacular on this earth and so deeply embedded in every core of life. Cyberdel, Cyberarian, Cyber Org, Cyberspace, Cyber Saturday, Cyber Nut. Needless to say, with all these, there are byproducts, cyber challenges like cyber conflict, cyber crime, cyber bullying, cyber extortion, cyber trafficking, and there is hope, cyber defense, and cyber security. To deliberate on this topic, cyber challenges and security, we have with us our expert, Mr. Mukesh Kumar, Head of Computer Department of DPS RK Puram. We welcome you, sir. Kindly extend the verbal greeting so that our participants, they can see you. Mukesh ji, just say hello.
Yeah, hello everyone.
I request Monica ma'am to please welcome and introduce our guest with a musical note. Welcome once again. We have another guest with us, Mrs. Taruna Mongia. I request Taruna ma'am to please extend the verbal greeting so that our participants, they can see you. Taruna ma'am, your mic is muted, please.
Thank you, Mukta ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am. Taruna ma'am is another pioneer educator and HOD computer science from Summerfield School, Gurgaon. She has been in this field from the last 24 years and won many awards, including the National ICT Award for Teachers in 2017 by Ministry of Education, Government of India. There is a long list, which I am skipping at the moment. She is also the resource person with NCRT and CBSE, a Microsoft trainer, Microsoft certified educators. And again, the list is long. I would like to listen to both the experts. So welcome both of you. We have with us our mentors. I can't see. So Harish Chaudhary sir has joined. Welcome, Harish sir. Welcome. And Harish sir is a mentor who has always been with me. In fact, after a long, professional inning, when I thought that I'm a good administrator and I'm a good teacher, sir actually taught me that you need to be a learner. So I'm still learning, sir. Welcome to the talk show and always supporting me, evolving me from the last, it's 13 years now. We have with us Dr. Rajesh Hasija. Is he there? So Dr. Hasija, welcome. The pioneer or the trailblazer of this talk show. Thank you, Dr. Hasija, for being here. Director of Indraprastha Group of Schools. And again, he has actually created ripples by creating 3 organizations in a short span of 10 years, besides a long list of credentials, which I'll overlook because today we would like to listen to Mukeshji. So over to Mukeshji now. Mukeshji, before we actually begin asking you questions, we would also, first would like to know the challenges which we are facing in education, rather not only in education, rather in every sector. Everybody, be a parent or a teacher or any common man, has this little concern about the cyber challenges and what are the security measures. So over to you to deliberate on this topic. Besides this, we'll take our questions. Over to Mukesh, sir.
First of all, I would like to thank Samurja and Mukta Mishra ma'am for inviting me for this topic, which is very happening right now and is very important for everyone. And I would like to pay my respect and regards to Professor Harish Chaudhary and Dr. Rajesh Hasija and my dear colleague Taruna Mungia. I'm very happy to have a session under your leadership here. So basically here today we are going to talk about cyber challenges and with growing needs and requirement of IT tools, services, and everything along the technology. We are going through a very different kind of phase of life, which never existed, and I think in future also should not happen. It should resolve as soon as possible. But during this process, a positive side of it has emerged. Whatever our society would have learned in 10 more years has learned in 1 single year. So we have moved with a very fast pace, and this speed was tremendous. And in this, most of the big IT companies like Google, Microsoft, Zoom, all these played very pivotal roles. And their tools also evolved over time. So within a few days, you must have seen there are a number of changes happened, and they also fixed their security systems because these tools were not meant to be used by so many people at the same time. And they were also not ready to work on this kind of scale. So they had to completely revamp the engines. Right now, the Zoom which we are on right now, it was not the same kind of Zoom 1 year back. And if you talk about Meet was not all the same which we are seeing right now. Team was not all the same which exists now. So there were a number of such kind of changes which never we expected that is going to be there has happened. So today I'm just along with my presentation, I will traverse you through the entire journey of challenges, security, and solutions, all of them together.
Great.
Right. So I'm just moving you with a presentation. I hope all of you can see my screen. So I have just taken the template which was shared with Mukta Mishra ma'am, and I tried to go as close as possible to that template so that it looks part of the theme.
I already complimented. This is looking better.
Thank you. So we'll just quickly go through the history. And 1969, first message was sent from computer to another computer on ARPANET. In 1971, the first electronic mail was sent by Ray Tomlinson. And 1978, the first spam mail, which was a marketing blast with 400 emails in one go, which resulted $13 million in sales, around $85 million today. In 1996, Hotmail launched the first free web-based email service, and I also started my first email account in 1996. So the day it was launched, I think it was just immediately after 1 month when it was launched, I started my very first email account. And then in 1989, Tim Berners-Lee, a British scientist at CERN, invented World Wide Web. In 1990, prototype software for a basic web system was demonstrated, and 1992 was the first year when a mobile phone was launched. Not very far away. So if you see in the history, it has happened very, very fast. In 1998, the word spam, the spam never existed in the dictionaries. So this was first time introduced in the Oxford Dictionary, and Data Protection Act updated to include email opt-outs. In 2003, the CAN-SPAM Act, a law that sets the rule for commercial mails, established. And from there onwards, the legalities and the laws started coming in. Before that, as these things were not existing, and that is why there was no law made for such kind of things. And if we talk about the mobile technologies, Android was started September 23rd, 2008, and iPhone was much before it, and that was June 29, 2007. Now, cyber challenges, if we talk about, cyber challenges becoming a severe issue for individuals. So if we talk about our personal communication and personal resources, then number two, private organizations, educational institutions, not-for-profit organizations, and governments. All of us, means all these organizations which you are seeing here, are impacted by these challenges, and everyone has different kind of challenge with certain commonalities. The major things which all of them are facing is ransomware, phishing attacks, malware attack, and some more such kind of things. If we talk about the news in recent time, I just pulled out news from last 4-5 days. So if you notice 2nd August, we had a social engineering goes automatic. New robocall bot on Telegram can trick you into giving up your password. So those who are on Telegram should be very, very careful about it, because there is a trick by which your password of things can be released by you yourself. Another news which came on 28th July 2021, a cyber attack can result in a war with a major power US president wants. So this news also was a very big news, because this war is going to be bigger than any other war, because this can impact more people, and distance does not matter here. It can impact anyone who is sitting at home, anyone sitting in office, anyone sitting anywhere in the world can be the victim of this kind of war. Another news, influenced by the pandemic, data breach costs hit record high, IBM report shows. That means as the data is traveling all across the world and everyone is making the data available to everyone, and that is how your secret data, your secure data is very, very seriously challenged right now. So you have to be really careful. Looking at this news, you can see here that if your organization is having some secret information and it is pulled out by someone, he can ask or she can ask any amount for it, and you have to pay that amount. Otherwise, it will become public, or it will be given to someone who can destroy your organization. Another news which is next to it is silence can cause millions in downtime cost. That means if you are not responding to your mail, if you are not responding to any message which has been sent to you commercially for some purpose, and if you are not responding on right time, you may lose out a very hefty amount. So this is something very, very serious. Think about if $1 billion has to be transferred and someone is sitting at the approving authority and that person is not responding at the right time, so much of interest will be lost, right? Then there is a news recently on 21st of July, why we need to rethink about right to disconnect. Now here, both sides are important. One side, if we see from the perspective of employees are thinking that it is our right not to respond in our off time. I am working for 8 hours, and after 8 hours, if some mail is coming to me, if I don't respond, it is my right. On the other side, the company's view is that if we are giving you flexibility to work from home, and in between 8 hours, you are taking liberty of doing other things at the same time, why not? You will be responding. So both the aspects are very important. And at this point of time, you have to see the organization's angle as well as you have to see the individual's angle. And there should be a balance so that these kind of things can be resolved. Because the companies are giving flexibility, so on the other side also people have to think about it. Then there is another news. On 29th July 2021, the cyber security threat of browser extensions. Now this is very important. Every one of you are impacted by this. Beware of malware distinguished as browser extensions. Browser extensions have always been attractive to cyber criminals looking for innovative ways to add malicious code onto unsuspecting users' machine. Now, these kind of, I have taken a screenshot here. You can see here the screenshot is for one of the extension, which is saying YouTube ad blocker. So we are very, very interested in seeing YouTube videos, and we don't want these ads to pop up in between. So we'll start surfing for those kind of extensions, which can help us so that we see the trouble-free videos. But these videos, which you are seeing in front of you, are marked with red here, should not be installed in your browsers. So as soon as you will install, you are compromising your machine completely. So how you will protect? Download the browser extensions from companies you trust. Make sure you read about it before going over there. Another thing, double check that recent reviews do not reveal any red flags. If you find red flags in front of them, do not install. Before committing to installing any add-ons, don't make mistake of hitting next or OK quickly. Before that, you make sure that you want to install this. Another thing, instead check the permissions and request to access your information. If you do not feel the extension require that much of information, then do not install it. Because sometimes if you are installing one particular extension to solve one of the problem and that extension is asking you to allow so many things from your side, you should not install those kind of extensions, because normally single purpose extension requires minimum permission. So look for all the points which are mentioned, which you are allowing that particular application to access. Now, thumb rules, I'll tell you, keep as few extensions as possible in your browser. And if there is no extension, that is the best, right? Uninstall and remove extensions if not in use or are very old. Both the things are important. One, if it is not in use, remove it. And if some extension is useful, but you have very old version of it, remove it. Because extensions are updated very frequently, and if they are not updated in your browser, that may damage, and that may be a leak point from your browser to outside world. So anyone can reveal anything you are doing on your browser during that time. Now, these are some status I have taken last year, and these numbers have grown gradually very big now. You can see how many internet users in the world and how many websites each day, how many mails are sent, and these kind of numbers you can check online. And these numbers are I'm just sharing with you so that you can understand the volume of data getting around the world. These are simply numbers just to show you, and these are the numbers noted on 17th June. And today, if you will check this number, it is almost doubled. Total number of websites in the world. It is almost doubled now. Now, cyber safety is the safe and responsible use of information and communication technology that you have to always remember. Maintaining a positive approach about the benefits of technologies is very important. Encouraging everyone to identify the risks associated with information communication technology has to be realized, right? So it is not that you are using technology without realizing the risk and without understanding how to use it. Means is given to you so that you can simplify your day-to-day work, not so that you can disturb others and not so that you can trouble anyone. So what are the important things we should keep in mind? We should keep in mind that our passwords are very important, should not be shared with anyone. Updates are very important. So every software, whichever is installed either on your PC, laptop, or mobile, or any handheld device, everything should be updated. Privacy, safety, and security, all of them has to be taken on the first priority, because these people, hackers, viruses, and worms, keep an eye on the weak areas of your information. Now, I would like to suggest you to be careful. What you put online never goes away, because it remains there even if you delete. That should be known to everyone, especially the children, because who do not realize that you are putting some photograph and after 10 minutes, if they will remove, it is not practically removed from there. It is just not in the public visibility, but anyone can take it out, and if it is something objectionable and it is reported by someone, it will be taken out from there. Be cautious. You never know who is keeping a watch on what you post. So every day, whatever you are posting, there are many people who are just looking at it, and they are just seeing what is your behavior, what is your outlook, where you go, and who all you meet, and what kind of dialogues you communicate, and what kind of messages you communicate. Somebody is watching you and who is not known to you. Be aware, just because it is online does not mean it is true. Anything, whatever you see online, don't think that it is correct, because anyone can put any information online. Even if I don't know physics, I can write number of definitions and put it on my blog. And these are physics definitions. In place of Newton's law, I might write something else. Just because it is online, you should not start thinking that now Newton Newton laws are changed and I can pull out the definition from there. No, you have to get it verified. Be responsible. If you would not do in person, don't do it online also. So if face to face, if you are not doing something, like you don't abuse people when they are in front, so don't abuse them online also. Be peaceful. Get off the computer, put down the mobile phone, because nothing beats spending time with real friends and family members. It should not be your 24/7 business online. You should give some time when you are making these devices rest, and you also rest from them. Now, what are the do's? Update all your operating system, software, apps regularly on mobile as well as PC, laptop, as I told you. Keep changing your Wi-Fi password regularly with mix of alphabets, digits, and special characters. This is very important. Just 2 years back, a case was registered for a terrorist attack, and the police captured 2 old couples without realizing that old couples had nothing to do with that, because their Wi-Fi password was taken by somebody and used for some activity which was terrorist activity, and that is why both the husband and wife were taken away from there, and a lot of inquiries happened, and after that they discovered that the password of Wi-Fi was taken by someone and it was misused for doing something wrong. So you have to be very careful. You can be victim of such kind of activity. Keep changing your email and other account passwords regularly with mix of alphabets, digits, and special characters. Do not keep your passwords as ABC123, test 1994. These kind of passwords are very weak passwords. Anyone can guess it. And don't keep your passwords as your mobile numbers. Don't keep your passwords as your family members' names. Because once someone discovers that you keep the passwords with family members' name, they will immediately catch hold of all your accounts. View with suspicion any unsolicited mails or web pages asking for personal information, particularly those claiming to be from banks and credit cards. People just think that, oh, this is the bank information, I have to immediately support and I have to provide. So don't be in a hurry. Banks never ask you any information of that kind. You will get a registered mail if such kind of thing happens. And you may have to visit bank branch personally. Don't install any free software app without checking its authenticity of the source. Leave your accounts, don't leave your accounts open anywhere, irrelevant of whether it is your own office and your own desktop. Don't leave it open. Don't open any attachment and link without verifying its actual source or origin. If it has come from someone who is not your friend, you don't have to open. And if you think that it has come from your friend as a forward, then also you don't have to open. don't access online banking or do online transactions on public computers or kiosks. Some people just go on railway stations, airports, and they use the public computer. And if it is emergency, use incognito mode so that you are not leaving any trace of your work over there. Give the OTP, don't give the OTP on mobile to anyone who is calling on mobile, even if they are your friends. Now, little bit about all the things which are dangerous, like phishing. Phishing is basically used by cyber criminals because it is easy to execute and can produce the results they are looking for with very, very little effort. So you have to be really careful about the email messages and text messages which you get from anywhere. Another is computer worm. Computer worm is a type of malicious software program whose primary function is to infect other computers while remaining active on infected systems. A computer worm is self-replicating malware that duplicates itself to spread to various computers. Virus is something which sits on one machine and can infect any machine wherever you are copying data or receiving data from. So nowadays, less viruses, more worms are there, right? Then botnet, you should know about the botnet. Botnet is basically a collection of software robots which acts as an army of infected computers, and that may damage everything and can collect a lot of data from your computers and your network for various kind of attacks. Then farming. Farming is a common type of online fraud, a means to point you to a malicious and illegitimate website by redirecting the legitimate URL. For example, if you are looking for a particular authenticated university website and it will be similar looking website, and you will type, you will just click that because it looks like that university website, and you will go there and you will get involved in various kind of activities which will damage your data. Sometimes your bank websites are also, I'll just show you some examples of bank websites, which before that, let me tell you about the dark web also. Dark web is basically the web in which we do not have any control of. It is a completely one-to-one kind of web, and it is highly encrypted web, and most of the damaging activities happen over there. The web where we are working on are on surface web. So if you see the outer circle around it, we have Chrome, Google, Facebook, YouTube, all these are on the surface web, which is nothing but 4% of the internet. Then deep web is 96% of the web internet, where all the activities which are damaging activities like terrorist activities, stalker activities, human trafficking activities happen over here. So you have to be aware of these kind of things. Awareness is very important. Now, what we do to safeguard ourselves. So all these things I'm not telling you so that you can just get away from your computer and you start thinking that, no, I'll not use a computer, so I'll be safe. No, that is not the idea. Idea is be responsible, be aware, and continue working on whatever you want to do. And for that, there are very simple tips. On your Google Chrome browser, if you just click on 3 dots over here, after that, you will get this menu. At the bottom, you will go to settings and scroll down further. You will find a link called advanced. Click that. Go at the bottom, you will be finding 2 links. One is restore settings to the original defaults, and second is clean up computer. So this activity, at least in 2 to 3 days, you should do. It will help you to solve two purposes. One, your browser will behave with 100% performance. Another, it will safeguard you from all malicious attacks. Another thing, when you are going to any website which is related to bank or any secured activity, make sure you are looking for HTTPS. S means secured. And then only you perform the activity, and then only you allow it to load on your system. For example, if you go to your SBI website, it will just show you something like this, a lock in the beginning, and then HTTPS. That means it is safe website. So it might be looking as if it is online SBI.co. That's it. So you'll think that it is SBI website. It might not be SBI website. In the same way, if you are going to ICICI Bank, there is a website very similar to ICICI Bank, which says ICICBank.India.com. So you have to read each letter of the website, and you should know that whether this is the original or not. There are three things you have to look at. One, this lock symbol. Second, HTTPS. And third, the spelling of the website. All three things are important while doing any online transactions. For example, if you go to HDFC Bank, again, you will see the same kind of thing. Here, HTTPS, there is a lock, and the spelling is standard spelling. There is no change. Here, for Citibank, you will see lock, then HTTPS, and spelling citibank.co.in. This is for India. There is citibank.com also, which is for international one. Another thing, if you're working on any computer which is not in your custody, I will suggest you to go in incognito or private window. And for going in that, you just have to click on three dots, and you will find the third option as new incognito window. The advantage of working on new incognito window is that it does not save any of your information while your transaction is happening. If you're working on Mozilla Firefox, this incognito window is known as private window. So you should work on private window while working on any public computer. Even if you want to work on two accounts at the same time, you may use incognito or private window for that purpose also. Now, another thing, people just keep on sending mail to many people. Suppose you have to send mail to 10 of your friends. I will never ever suggest you to type their email addresses in to or CC. That way you will be spamming their email IDs. They might not be friends with each other. So what is the need and why you will be passing on their email addresses to everyone? This mistake is done by most of our government organizations also. Even from CBSE, the mails which are received, they give every school's information to every school, which is not right. So you, all of you who are right now in front of this Zoom webinar, I will request all of you, as soon as it is more than 2 people, you need to send mails. Never put their addresses in to or CC. Always put their email IDs in BCC so that everyone will receive your personalized email. They will not be able to see how many people have received this mail along with them. And what is the need? If they are not friends, they are not connected, they are not networked, what is the need? Why will be writing so many email addresses? And we'll be just sharing with everyone so that everyone will copy it. And if they have some forward message, they will send it to all of them. So that way you are encouraging spam, right? So never encourage spam. As soon as you have more than 2 people, do not write their email IDs in to or CC. And there is no need to write one name also. You can write all of them in BCC. People have a misconception that we have to write at least one email address in to or CC, then only it will go. No, it is not true. You can put all the email addresses in BCC only, and the mails will go personally to everyone, and no one will know how many other people have received this mail. And wherever possible, I will suggest that there should be a firewall. If you are working in a network environment, it is suggested that there should be a hardware firewall. There are software firewalls also, but they are not very safe. They can be easily hacked. And hardware firewalls are developed by a number of companies, like Cisco is making, Dell is also making their own firewall. So this is one important thing. Anyone who is running organization, school, or anywhere where there are more than 5-6 computers, they should always install a hardware firewall. Then this is how you can update your operating system. If you will just type update in Windows, you will get this kind of screen where it will show you one button as check for updates. When you click this check for updates, it will give you the number of links which are ready for you to be downloaded and installed. Make sure that you keep doing this. Another thing, if you're using Mac, in that also I will suggest you to update. Mostly in Mac, people do manual updates because automatic updates sometimes give trouble. So these are the steps for manually updating Mac OS. This is another way of doing that. So you can just click on Apple menu and system preferences and click software update. It will start updating. So you can turn it to automatically keep my MacBook up to date, so that you can do. Then as soon as you find somebody has some wrong profile or someone has posted something wrong, immediately report about inappropriate message, and Facebook deals it very seriously. And most of the time they remove things within 24 hours. So for that, you just have to go to that and go to report abuse, and this kind of drop down will come over there. So you can report what kind of problem you see, whether it is nudity or violence, harassment, suicide or self-injury, false news, spam, whatever it is that you identify the type and mention here. Sometimes it might be terrorism also. So you are seeing it and you are leaving it over there. That also is a crime. So if you see something wrong, immediately report. When the provider, the Facebook and all other social service providers are giving you that opportunity, and that is with few clicks of your buttons, if you are able to safeguard the entire world, why not do that? So this is another way you can do. You can just click on, if you find a page which is having fake profile, you just click on 3 dots and then click on find support or report profile, block. And when you do that, it will give you another options. So here you can select block, hide all from myself, means hide from all from myself, and then submit it to Facebook for review. So these are the options which you can select. On Instagram, these are the options: block this user, restrict, or report user. So when you click on report user, you will mention about whether it is a fake profile of mine or someone I know or a celebrity or public figure. So you can mention that. It is different that Instagram reacts little slow, but you should do that. You can also report if it is a spam or inappropriate. Then I think I have, how many minutes I can go further because...
Although you have crossed your time, but I'm receiving so many messages in the chat box for thank you. And I myself feel that there is so much I am learning personally. So you can carry on, or you can take the questions from Taruna, and then you can do that.
Okay, perfectly fine. I will stop here and I will request Taruna ma'am. However, Taruna ma'am is as expert as anyone in the cyber world right now. But she has collected questions from others and she's going to ask me that.
Yeah. Over to Taruna ma'am. On behalf of all the participants, I have also picked up 1 or 2 questions, right? So on behalf of parents, teachers, educators, and a common man, she is asking you a few questions. Over to Taruna, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mukta ma'am. And thank you, Mukesh sir, for such a nice presentation. And I also have learned so much from your presentation. As you say, I am not a pioneer. You are the pioneer. I'm also learning from you, sir, always. There are some questions that you have shared in your presentation that we have to be careful when we are downloading some apps into our computer. Before using that, avoid using the application, the free application. But during the online teaching, now this is a teacher perspective. During this new normal online blended learning, we all have to use many applications to make our teaching learning process interactive. And for that purpose, we have to use third-party apps also and some free apps also, because it's not possible for us to buy the app to use, because we have to use it 1 or 2 times only. So what is your suggestion? Because for that application, we have to share the photos and videos of our students also for the assessment or for the activities. So what is your view, sir, about how we can do this? Because we have to make our teaching learning process interactive by using these apps.
It is very important for us to use free apps. You are right. And as teachers, we can't afford to buy all these kind of professional apps. So I will suggest that before installing, go through, review it very carefully. You will find number of reviews and make sure that reviews are not coming from same kind of people. Make sure that you read reviews and see whether the names are properly spelled out or not. Sometimes their names are just fake names. You will be able to make out those names. So if you find that those names are genuine looking and whatever they are writing over there, that is genuinely addressed, the pros and cons, both of them are mentioned, because no apps have flawless implementation. Every app has some or the other problem. So if you notice, the good apps will have few good points and 1 or 2 bad points. And in reviews, you will find both of them. So if you see the reviews, you will be able to make out whether this app is genuine or not, and whether it is marked by somebody as report some problem, right? And if it is red marked, please do not use them, right? If some people have already tried out and they have good reviews about it in your own network, you can use. But make sure if you're not using it on and on, means you have used it for one particular purpose, after that you can uninstall it. And whenever you will need it again, you can reinstall it. So these are some ways by which you can protect your browser from any kind of attacks. So reviews are very important.
Yes, I must say that we have to take the reviews, and because when we are doing online shopping and we are taking a reviews for the product, then definitely we have to take a review before using any app.
Same goes as you buy something from Amazon and you read about how is the service provider or how is the item provider person. So you get 5 stars, 3 stars, 2 stars, and you never buy something which is marked as 2 stars. So in the same way, if something is marked with bad reviews, never take those apps.
Mukeshji, there are a few questions related to the social media with reference to students. What is the right age that students should log in at the social media? In continuum to the same, the second question is it suggested that students should take part in the Twitter activities?
See, according to me and according to Google, according to Facebook, according to Instagram, according to all other social platforms, the right age to start is 13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
All right.
And if the children are changing their date of birth and registering for such kind of app, that should be highly discouraged by all the teachers, all the parents.
And one very apt but very vague question: how much awareness is enough awareness? Shabana
Actually-
Halim has said it.
Yeah.
I really like the
Actually-
question.
This is an ever growing field in which no one is completely knowledgeable. Even if you ask me, I will also not say that I am completely literate. Taruna ma'am will also have the same view that in this
Definitely.
field, no one will be completely knowledgeable. But as soon as you come to know about something, make sure that you become aware of it and pass that knowledge to everyone who is around you, whether they are your family members or they are friends. Make sure that if something you have come across and you became knowledgeable about that in the cyber safety or security part, you make sure that you make it available to others in your own groups.
Another question is which
Yeah.
I
Mukta
also
ma'am, can I
say-
ask one more question?
Yes, please. We will
Yeah.
be extending the time for the talk show, although it's up to 5, but I think seeing the interest of the participant, we can always take 5-10 more minutes.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
please.
that's my next question is as an individual, sir. As an individual, as you say that we don't have to share our personal data or personal information on any online platform if they are asking for our any personal data. Then, but now you can see everything is in India. Everything is linked with the Aadhaar card, and that Aadhaar card is linked with my bank, with my PAN, with my each and every information is linked together. So, and sometimes in online mode also, and for offline evidences also, we have to submit our Aadhaar card number or the proof of Aadhaar card. Then how we can prevent not to give the information?
See, Aadhaar card is required in certain things only, and you should know where the Aadhaar card is required. Wherever it is not required, you are providing, that means there is something wrong. For example, if you are buying a new SIM, you have to provide Aadhaar card because that gets linked. If you're opening a bank account, you definitely have to provide Aadhaar card, right? So you should know either it should be a banking service or it is a mobile communication or it is government organization. These are the only 3 places you require Aadhaar card. If any other organization is asking you Aadhaar card, I think you have your own decision to hold it. Government, bank, and mobile. These are the
Definitely,
3.
this kind of awareness also to be spread that what all places where the Aadhaar card or the PAN card or any personal data should be provided.
Yeah, for example, if you're just passing through one state to another state and at toll somebody is asking you Aadhaar card, you should not show. There is no need. And in train also, when you are showing your Aadhaar card, make sure you put your finger in front of the your number, right? And show it in your hand. Do not pass it on to the person who is checking your ticket.
But nowadays, so sir, our COVID certificate also linked with our Aadhaar card.
So that is government. Again, I am telling you, government, bank, and mobile sector. Nothing else requires Aadhaar card. And if they require, you can tell them, no, I'll not provide. In government, you can't stop. You have to provide, whether it is driving license, whether it is registration of your house, or do anything with Jal Board or NDPL, you have to provide your Aadhaar card.
And one more question, sir, from individual side only. That, as you said, that when we are working in a networking organization, then we must have a strong firewall, the hardware firewall or software firewall.
That is only when you are in organization, not
Yeah,
for
but
individual.
for example, I'm in my suppose I'm somewhere where I have connected with 2-3 people together, and I'm using the network. Then, as an individual, how we can establish that kind of security, the firewall kind of security into
You
our
don't
individual
require.
systems?
you don't require, when you are only 2-3 people are using, you don't require firewall because you will be yourself careful. When you have more number of people and you do not have control over who is working on what, there you require firewall. For example, in my organization, I have 200 machines, and every employee, I can't peep in their computer what they are doing.
Definitely.
So when you have more number of people, then only firewall is essential, where you don't have any control of who is working on what. If you're working on your computer, you are your boss. You can take care of your data.
I have so many questions for you, sir, but I think Mukta ma'am is just indicating that time is over.
No, there are questions from the participants also.
Yes.
Mr. Mukesh, you can check the question answer block, which I mean 2-3 quick questions.
Yeah,
For every platform, we need to have a password. There are so many passwords. How to remember them? And another quick question is that if something happens with us while using the internet, whom should we report first?
I'll start with question number 1. So many passwords, how to tackle it. Most of the service providers have given us a lot of alternatives for that. And most of the time, I will suggest all of you to link your service accounts with a mobile number. That helps you. Even if you forget your password, you should just connect it with that. And whenever you are framing a password, make some logic of your own and frame it with the help of that. I will not give you any hint over here, but you can just pick up some alphabets from something and some numbers from something which relates, and you make your own equation for framing those passwords. You will never forget if you are framing your password with some logic. We forget password when we do random passwords. Right.
So if we have say 20-25 passwords, how to remember them?
I don't think you should make 20-21 passwords. You can make certain passwords common, which are for the similar kind of activities. Minor differences you can keep in each of them. Like in one, you have @ in the other, you can have hash and you can have something else. Or you can connect some alphabets which identifies that particular service so that you will remember that. So there is, but make your password with some technical logic. And if you will be making password with some technical logic, you will never ever forget. You will forget when you will just write it randomly. Okay. So make some logic, alphabet of some place, number of some other place, and then character of some other place. So all these kind of combinations you make password. So if there is a logic behind that password, you will remember the logic more than the password.
There is a question from Soumyadeep Banerjee. In banking department, as we might be knowing, everything is safe till we are not sharing any password and other credentials. Then also hacking happens. Why so?
Hacking happens because of 2-3 reasons. One, sometimes if we leave our system open anywhere and that system is used by somebody, or that system already had some virus attack on it, it might be, and if one password is leaked, another connected accounts will automatically go along with that. And nowadays there is a copier machine with the help of which you can copy the credit cards also, and that is why the credit cards have also changed. Nowadays, you don't have magnetic strip credit card because copying that was very easy. Now you have a chip built in that, and that also is connected with some fingerprints, and there are a number of attached security services. So banking sector is also working on it. So you make sure you keep on updating yourself about this information coming from your bank. What kind of security services they have updated. So even in your banking accounts, if you log in after 1 month or so, every month they do some more security options in that. So they are trying to fix those bugs which are open to the hackers. So just like other softwares are updated, your banking softwares are also frequently getting updated and getting more secure.
Okay. Mukeshji, questions are still pouring in. So I request all the participants that the WhatsApp group for the participant which is being made, kindly post your questions there and we will forward it to Mukesh sir. And I personally ensure that
I will just answer the last question. It is Yuvan Chikra.
Yeah.
How to remove all malwares from our computers. So one simple thing you have to do not use pirated operating system, use original operating system and keep it up to date. Means every day, whatever update comes, don't wait. Immediately click on update. It should be updated. The browser which you are using should be up to date. So on daily basis, if you see any pop-up coming which says that new update has come, make sure that you update your OS of mobile as well as all the apps which you have installed on your mobile device. All of them should be up to date. And if you will keep all the things up to date, you should not worry about any threats. Because all the service providers keep on working 24/7 on their security.
Thank you so much. I think I have personally have made 7-8 pages of notes. I'll request Harish sir to please come forward in case something we are missing, because your horizon and the vision is much larger and broader than ours. So you can ask question to Mukesh.
I don't think I can add to all that what Mukesh has said. It is not my domain, and it's a very dynamic field. So I think Samurja should have this session, if not more frequently, once a month, to see what updates Mukesh wants to let us, be aware of. Thank you so much, Mukesh.
You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Harish sir. And Taruna ma'am, I hope all questions are answered, or still there are left some.
Yeah, still they are left, but I'll definitely pass it to Mukesh sir.
And
you have my number, you can just call me.
Yes, sure.
Really vibrant session, and I think either I don't see the chat box or I do not know. Today, the maximum chat messages are there, and a big thank you to Mukesh sir. A very big thank you to Taruna ma'am for accepting the offer to coming on this show at the last moment, and that too because I was thinking that I am not a computer person. Will I be in a position to ask all questions or the apt question? तो ऐसा नहीं हो Googly मेरा हो जाए talk show पे. So thank you so much Taruna ma'am for joining us.
Thank you ma'am for giving me opportunity, and thank you Hasija sir for giving me opportunity to connect with you.
Sir will be on the wheels again as usual. So thank you everyone. Thank you Harish sir. So Harish sir, next session it will be more vibrant. And before we have actually asked, I just floated the cohort 3, all the topics. I am having lots of responses that what is this? It's a very different, unique topic, science and spirituality of success. So sir, we will be all set to listen to you in the next session. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone. And over to Kriti for the formal vote of thanks.
Good evening, everyone. Respected panelists, Mr. Mukesh Kumar sir, Ms. Taruna ma'am, and Dr. Harish Chaudhary sir. I, Kriti Kapoor, on behalf of Samurja Educational Society, extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the honorable delegates who blessed us with their presence and took out valuable time from their busy schedule. I mention our deep sense of appreciation for all of you for empowering us by sharing your wisdom and experiences. Some takeaways for today: be careful, be cautious, be aware, and yes, be responsible. Second, keep updating your apps and softwares. Pass knowledge regarding cyber safety. Do not keep your password as your phone number or family member's name. Do not install any free app or any software without checking its authenticity. When going for net banking or any web page, please check for the three things: the lock sign, the S, and also the spelling of the website. Always send bulk messages or maybe the emails through BCC. Make passwords by using some logical things so that you never forget them. And last, for your kids, the 13 year means when the child goes into 13 years, the best stage to start using social media. But yes, it should be under your knowledge also. Also, I would like to extend a special thanks to Dr. Mukta Mishra ma'am for inspiring us. She's the guiding force for every new step forward. I extend my big thanks to our team Samurja for their support and especially for Monica ma'am. And my deep sense of appreciation goes to all the participants who were live today with us and attended this talk show with great enthusiasm. We look forward to your feedback and your support always. Once again, thank you everyone. Namaskar.
Thank you so much and namaskar to everyone. Namaskar.